Hey, so I woke up in the middle of the night last night and made a voice memo because for whatever reason, I woke up at this particular moment with these thoughts running through my head from somewhere about manifestation and the home frequency and everything I've been talking about lately. And it was a pretty simple thing. I mean, this is probably a logical deduction that could be made, but manifestation and all the things, that people are doing a la Neville Goddard are just meant to be a demonstration. They're just meant to show you what you're capable of. That was never meant to be the way people live their lives. People were never meant to live in a state of distortion, meaning under false impressions about who they are, and then manhandle the reality into submission by manifesting things. This was never about manifesting the outer reality. It's always been about inner, massive, in most cases, change. And so that's something that's important to understand. I've been talking about this concept here for 5 years, but always with a tone of, hey, different strokes for different folks, or hey, this is just my opinion. But it's quite obvious and clear that none of this manifestation ability that we have is meant to be used in the way it's being used. That's the introduction. The introduction is showing you what you're able to do. But the extrapolation from that has always been, the intention has always been that people wake up to who they really are. And waking up means coming out of the fog of all of your false beliefs. And I think I think most everybody is probably at the point where they could say, okay, I agree with that. The problem is the methods that are being used to try to bypass what has to happen to actually get rid of those false beliefs. It's not just a matter of affirming. It's not just a matter of having different surface thoughts. It's a matter of buying the pearl of great price, as Neville Goddard called it, basically accepting that your whole reality is coming from you and that there is nothing and no one to change but self. And I don't know if anyone else has phrased it this way. This has been my phrasing since the beginning, but the acceptance, the wholesale acceptance of everything that is bringing me pain is a misconception. I mean, that's the base premise of A Course in Miracles, but all the beliefs you have about yourself that are causing you pain are false, is the way I've put it throughout this whole channel, because I experienced this firsthand myself in kind of a miraculous way a few months before I started randomly making this channel that I never expected to even have. But all the pain in your life is not coming from some external reality not being right. It's coming from you not being right. It's coming from you still believing things that are false at the most base level. Some of these things that you believe that are false are so massive that you couldn't even identify it as a belief. It's a truth. It's so big that it encompasses every single thing in your experience. You might have 1, 2, maybe you have 10 of those. The more of those you have, the more miserable life is. And the only way out is to commit yourself to these ideas. The only way out is through. And through means figuring yourself out, figuring out where you develop these ideas, and recognizing the falseness, the wrongness of the conclusions that you drew from these particular experiences in life, I don't think they come from anywhere else. Some of these big beliefs might be sort of some of these beliefs might be an aggregate of multiple beliefs. You know, I have these 5 false beliefs, therefore I draw an even wronger conclusion, an even bigger belief because of these, 5 small beliefs. Sometimes you can pull one of these dominoes out, or I shouldn't say that. You can pull one of these Jenga pieces out and the whole thing comes toppling down, and you didn't even realize what was resting on top of this one thing that you believe, that you located the source of and recognized the falseness of. Entire worldviews can just come crashing to the ground in the best way, in the most relieving way, by just removing one of these structural pieces. But it's what has to happen. And manifestation was never the intention. Creating through distortion was never the idea. The idea was always to awaken humans to their own creative power. And knowing the creative power that you have, and knowing or being able to relate that to the power of God, or whatever you think of God as, that alone, I think, starts to create a lot of cracks in the foundation of these false beliefs that you have, that you're small and bad and wrong. That's the purpose of manifestation, not to get stuff. The things that you manifest from a distorted state are never right anyway. They're never right for you. They're never going to bring you fulfillment, if you can even manage to make it happen. But that was never the intention. You came here for a reason. That reason still exists. Your connection to that frequency is still available and always will be. And you just have to take that step. That first step of believing that all of the pain that you're experiencing in your life is coming from false beliefs. That's it.